Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Slone Stitches. If you're new here, my name is Jess. I live in Cincinnati, Ohio, and this is my channel all about cross stitching. If you're a returning viewer, hi, welcome back. How are you? How's everybody been doing the last couple of weeks? It's been pretty good here. No major complaints. It's very muggy today, so I'm like in my kitchen, like we are sweating it out today. It's not really hot outside. It's just been kind of stormy and rainy the last couple of days, and it's gross. I have a fan going. We're going to try and get through it. Really quick before I get started, I wanted to thank a few people for some shout outs that I got in the last couple of weeks, kind of around the time of my whip parade that I filmed a couple weeks ago. And those people are Paula, the 502 Stitcher, Tasha, Bridges Get Stitches, and Chris, the Camping Stitcher. All of them shouted me out on their channels this last few weeks. So I wanted to make sure that I returned the favor, and I will link them in the description box. So if you are not already watching them, you can go check them out and give them some love too. I also wanted to give a shout out to my friend Liz, who is brand new on Flosstube. She is under Stitcher Baker, and I will link her below as well. She took the leap and she filmed her first video, and it was great. So wanted to give her a little love as well and send some people over her way so you can check it out and hopefully watch and subscribe to her as well. Old business. I wanted to go ahead and give the winner of the giveaway from my last video 2 more weeks to reach out to me either via email or on Instagram, instant message, direct message, whatever. And that was for our giveaway of the penguin snow globe from Benton Creek. The winner of this was Forest City Stitching, and I'll put the comment up here again. I figured it really wasn't fair to only give that person the whip parade video to find out that they won, because some people don't like whip parades. It's not their thing, so they might not have watched it. So wanted to reach out again here. If I do not hear from you by the time I film my next video in 2 weeks, which would be into August, which is crazy. It'll either be August 4th or August 5th that I film my next video. I do want to go back to filming on Tuesdays now that dive team for my son is over for the summer. So you have until then to reach out to me and give me your address so that I can send this little guy out to you. And if not, I will pick another winner from the entries on that video from 2 videos ago. So reach out to me, please. I want to give this to you really bad. Okay, life updates. Not too much going on. School starts in less than a month. That's insane. Let's see. My stitching group had our 2-year anniversary this past week, which was very exciting. A little bittersweet since one of our members has moved, but we got together, and I do have one little goodie to show you from that I'll show you later in haul. Was supposed to go to Summer Stitch, which is hosted by Keepsakes here in Cincinnati. I was supposed to be at weekend 2 this past weekend, or day 2. It's just a 1-day thing. But they do it 2 weekends in a row, and someone came to the first day with the vid and got everybody else sick. It's like literally everyone I know that went, with the exception of 1 or maybe 2 people, is sick. So shop staff got it, had to cancel the second weekend. That was a major bummer. So my friend Michelle from my stitching group and I were supposed to have gone to that, but instead pivoted and made a trip up to Mystic Fabrics, which is in Rushville, Indiana, which is about 1 hour and 40 minutes from where I live on the east side of Cincinnati. And I will talk a lot more about that later in haul, because I did some damage, and it's a super cute store. And if you are anywhere within driving distance, you definitely want to stay, see some pictures, check it out. It's a good experience. You'll love it. Misty's very nice. So we will talk about that later. but just really people, like, I know it's disappointing to miss an event because you get sick, like you paid for it and you were excited for it. Like other people paid for it and were excited for it too. And, like 50 people were there and now, maybe 50 people are sick. And then the people that were supposed to go the second weekend didn't get to go at all. And from a human perspective, just don't go if you know you're sick. Like, I had friends say that someone was like just kind of hacking all over the place and it's a small room. And I'm glad I was signed up for the second weekend because there's nothing worse than a summer cold, flu, COVID, whatever. I would be really bummed if I was sick right now. We have so much going on for our end of summer push for my son's summer break. So just think about it next time you're sick and you're supposed to be somewhere with a bunch of other people. Just maybe try to do the right thing. I'm not trying to be on my soapbox. Just a lot of people had some dents thrown in their plans this last couple weeks. So it just sucks. I feel sorry for everybody that got sick. Let's move on to the stitching, shall we? So I'm going to start with a finish. So I've started doing Christmas in July as usual. And I had a quick little start and finish at the very beginning of July. This is Tall Treat from the Blue Flower. And I did this on a piece of 40 count mystery even weave that I got from a grab bag from BeStitchMe. This really pretty light blue color. Look, he's so cute. I love him. I started this on July 1st and finished it on July 2nd. He was a super cute, quick little stitch. I'm going to turn him into an ornament. Fabric is actually showing up fairly well. That's pretty true to color. Isn't he the cutest little guy? I love him. I got him from, I think, Jingle Ball, but I think he might just be available. I'm not 100% sure. It's hard for me to keep up. I have so many blue flower patterns and plans and projects on the go. I can't keep up with it all. So, but I definitely want to try and get him finished before Christmas this year so that I can hang him on a tree. Because he's just the tiniest, cutest little thing. Like, look at him next to my hand. Like I don't know how to fold backwards, apparently. Like, so little. I love him. My dot. That's probably another weather warning. This weather is insane these last few days. Okay. Let's move straight into WIPs. I do have some new starts, but we'll go over works in progress first. And I thought I would start with Stitchgo and WIPGO pieces to get them out of the way. And then we'll get straight into full-on Christmas in July stitching because I have worked through all of my Christmas projects and started several more. So lots of good stuff to show there. But let's start with Stitchgo because I had Stitchgo goals left over from June because we went on vacation and there was StitchCon in there. So I was a little behind because the numbers from June were 21 and 23. So on my Stitchgo board, that equates to numbers of hundreds of stitches if you're new. And if you are new, Jessie Marie does stuff, runs WIPGO, and she calls numbers. It's like a bingo board every month. So I have a WIPGO board that has projects on there, but I also created what I call my Stitchgo board, where the numbers correspond to hundreds of stitches. And I have my two biggest projects on that board. And so in June, Bath Time from Heaven and Earth Designs was called for both numbers. And that was a lot to take on when I was gone and busy. We got through it. I had to wrap up the last couple thousand in July, but I did that. So since I did the WIP parade a couple weeks ago, I think I'm going to just show you what it looked like in the WIP parade. And we'll move forward from there because I don't know if I really want to dig up pictures from a month ago to try and show, and then it might get confusing if you saw the WIP parade. So I'll just show you what these look like in my WIP parade. So that is what Bath Time looked like. And this is art by Lisa Parker, charted by Heaven and Earth Designs, and I can no longer fold it down the middle because I finished a page and started down some more. There he is. I love it. It's also nice to be out of like green and gray. I'll show you. I finished up this page right here. So I finished up that one, and then I still had quite a few stitches left to go to hit my goal. So moved down because I am working diagonal pages. So moved down to this page and got all of that in. Some more of the curtain. So it was nice to work with some darker, it's not really blocks of color, but more colors at once, you know. I could carry some black down, carry some blue. So it was nice. So I know when I get back to this one, I have some good solid stitching to look forward to instead of a whole bunch of confetti. Show you the full thing one more time. There you go. It's looking so good. I'm really pleased with where this is at. I don't think I wrote down the percentage when I was making my notes, but it's right around 23% now almost. Just below it, I think. So we're getting there. I really should try to get 10% of it done per year. And I'm probably not going to hit the 30% by the end of December this year, but that's okay. I'm going to keep it on my Stitchgo board for 2026, and I think I will make up some good progress that way because I didn't start the Stitchgo idea until March this year, so I missed out on a couple of months. And I didn't go back and make up for them because nobody has time for that. So we'll see. Okay. Oh, and that's on just a 25 count, easy count lugana from Zweigart. I'm doing it 1/1 full course. So just basic, nothing fancy. The next project, this was on Stitchgo for July, both numbers. But July's numbers were 2 and 16. So 1,800 stitches on this project. This is Reaching Skyward from Modern Folk Embroidery. I'm doing this on a 28 count mushroom lugana. 1/1 full cross. So she's a tiny little thing. I started this on my birthday in 2024, so April 14th, 2024. And I already did my July goal on this, which is very exciting. This is what it looked like in my WIP parade. And 1,800 stitches goes a long way. This is over a quarter done now. That's also very exciting. Here it is. So you can see I worked really hard on border to bring it down even to where I was on the middle part of the piece itself. And then started filling in the pink and working in on this column. Let's see if I can do it down here. I'll bring that in really close so you can see. It's so little. So good. I had a lot of fun with the flower here just because so much of this is geometric. So getting to get into that flower and do something that was a little different was a lot of fun. This pattern calls for 2 colors of DMC and you kind of choose your own adventure. I'm doing 3 because I wanted the snowflakes to stand out. So I added the 3rd color with that blue. It's nice though, these modern folk embroidery projects they fly by. Like, I will start working on it and I'll look up and I'll put in 500 stitches in just a few hours just because it's so repetitive and it feels like very therapeutic comfort stitching. And you can kind of go back and forth, you know, you can do the geometric things over here and then move in and do something else, and the fill-in goes fast. So you really feel like you're making a ton of progress, even though you know there's a lot more stitching to do. But I'm thrilled to have this a quarter of the way done. You know, I've only been working on it for a year and a couple of months. So that's very exciting. Sure. I had a mess after my WIP parade, so I'm like being very conscious right now to zip bags up, put them back on the chair where they're supposed to be. Okay, next up was my first WIPGO call for July. And this is The Four Elements by Satsuma Street. I started this on Leap Day in 2024, and my goal is to do one element per year. So by the time we get to the next Leap Day, it'll be done. It's on a 32 count piece of lugana and charcoal from Zweigart. I'm doing it 2/2, which these days I would probably do 1/2, but I do really like the full look for the design of this piece. It really pops off of the fabric. This is where it was when you saw it in my whip parade a couple weeks ago. And I finished element number 2, so I am right on track with my goal. There's cat fur on this. So I finished Earth. So fun. Earth was full coverage, except for the part where the waves come in for water down at the bottom. Those flowers were so fun. They're so colorful. Nice block stitching all the way throughout this. So when I get really bogged down with confetti and the full coverage piece or anything else, this was just a reprieve from that. So I've got air and earth finished, and I think I'll do the water next because the fire, like sun element, is not full coverage and it's smaller. So leave myself with the easiest for last. Looks great. I love those greens. After working with all of those whites and grays up in the sky, switching to those bright greens was so nice. Okay. Then is the project that I'm currently working on for WIPGO. This was my other call for July, and it was also a call in June. So I was up to date with my June goals, and I am one day in on my July goal. So I have 3 more days left on this because on WIPGO, I give each piece 4 days. I'm not going to take it out of the hoop because I have it right where I want it. So it's a little bit of a mess. This is Feather Fairy. You'd think I was brand new. This is what it's going to look like. This is what it looked like in my whip parade. This is on a piece of 32 count Belfast linen. It's opal, raw silver from Zweigart. I'm doing this 2/2. She is. So I finished the green feather here. Finished that last night or yesterday, I guess I should say. And started doing all of this work with this dark blue and this black to map out the next feather. So I think theoretically, as long as I have a lot of stitching time over these last 3 days I'm giving this, I should get this next feather finished before it goes away again. Bring it in, and if you've not seen this piece before, if this is your first time watching me, the wings and her bodice and her head and all that, it's all done, except for the beads and the backstitch, which I'm saving for last. Oh, it's so nice. The blends, and really, like the picture of this does not do it justice. It's much more dull than this. She just pops. We just want to like sit here and stare at her for a while because we could. I could. Oh, it's so fun. I cannot wait to have this finished. I don't have a clue what I'm going to do with it. I might gift it to my niece. By the time I finish this, she might be old enough to appreciate it. She's almost 3. So I figure I'll have this done when she's like 5. So she might appreciate it. We'll see. And I forgot to say, I'm really killing it today, you guys. Batting 1,000. I started that as my New Year's Eve start in 2023. So I always do a new start on New Year's Eve. So I have something to do. And that was the 2023 one. My Heaven and Earth Designs was the one for 2024. No, it wasn't. 2022. Could you imagine if I had gotten all that done in 7 months? 2022. Going the wrong way. Maybe it's too hot to film today. I'm losing my mind. All right, let's get into Christmas in July. I love working on Christmas pieces in July. Christmas is my favorite time of year. The lights and the colors and the food, and I love giving gifts and making gifts. So I love to pull these things out in July and work on them. I don't touch my Christmas pieces any other time of year besides Christmas time and July. So it's always a treat when I get to. And the first project that I'm going to show is Santa's Night Tree from Liz Mathews. This was a Jingle Ball exclusive 2 Jingle Balls ago, I believe. This is what it looks like. And this is where it was when you saw it in my whip parade, which is a huge difference from where you saw it at my beginning of the year whip parade. Because I finished all the plaid and the little December 25th thing at the beginning of July before I filmed my mid-year. But I started this on December 12th, 2024. It's on a piece of 32 count lugana and Azure from Zweigart, 2/2, which again, I would not have done now, but it's okay. It looks great. This is where it is now. So not a huge difference from the whip parade because I only just started putting more into this last night. So I got snow in all the way to here, and I got these 2 trees and the bird and the candles. I'll bring that in so you can see it. So that's what I worked on last night after I'd finished up with Feather Fairy for the day. So not a huge difference from my whip parade, but if you didn't watch my whip parade and you saw this at the beginning of the year, you're probably pretty impressed. So it's still in the Q-snap because I am going to finish up working on it a little more tonight. And then put it away and move on to the next Christmas project. And that's probably the last time I'll get to touch it until we get into the real Christmas season. And I'm happy with where it's at. It's almost half done. It's like 48 point something% according to Pattern Keeper. So just have to finish up the rest of the snow and all that, the houses, and get Santa's reindeer in there. The bulk of it was in the plaid. That was the biggest problem. So looking really good. I'm very happy with where that one is. Okay, next is the last project that I needed to work on in order to have touched all of my current whips this year. So I did. This is the 12 Movie Nights of Christmas. This is by Atomic Tiki Pins. I started this on November 22nd, 2023, and mine is not going to look like the picture that I just showed because there are alternate movies that she released that you can use, and I have added some of those into my plans. I have moved other movies around just to make space for everything I wanted to do. So mine will not look like that, but this is what mine looked like at the beginning of the year. This is on a piece of 28 count cashel linen and Alchemy from Picture This Plus, doing it 2/2. Like I said, using several alternate movies. I recharted Frosty to make him fit in the box that I wanted him to be in. This is where it is now. So you can see what I worked on this time is It's a Wonderful Life. And I will pull in and show you that here in just a second. So I did make a couple of changes. I didn't want to pull some floss that I hadn't put in the bag already, so I made a couple color changes. The wings had a bunch of back stitching in them. I didn't feel like it was necessary. I think they look fine without it. And it was a lot. Like it was going to really pull attention. So I didn't want to do that. I did back stitch the bell. You can see the lasso for him lassoing the moon. The moon had a face in the original pattern that she put out. So I did not do the face. I started to, hated it, took it out. There it is. So if you're wondering, if you've never seen It's a Wonderful Life and you're like, what is happening here? There's the lassoing the moon, but then also the main big thing that everybody always quotes from It's a Wonderful Life is every time a bell rings, an angel gets its wings. So the exciting part about this, besides getting one of the blocks done, is that that's the bottom. So I've reached the bottom. I have, I think, 4 more movies to put in. And then we can go in and do that big old Christmas tree and all that. So no illusions that this will get done this year, but I think it'll get fairly close and maybe it can be a finish next Christmas. Fingers crossed. If you could see, like, gonna flash this really quick. So like, here's my recharting on graph paper. Here's calculations trying to make alternates fit into boxes. These are my notes with my like diagram of what I'm gonna put and how big it's gonna be and all that. So yes, I have 4 more movies to put in. I'm putting in Christmas Vacation, The Grinch, and Nightmare Before Christmas. Those are all on the original pattern. I am pulling out Harry Potter and putting in Love Actually. So we are getting there. Crazy. It's so much work but the border is fun even because it's not just one solid color. So you kind of have to think about it and it keeps my attention, which is very important. Moving on is a pattern that kind of doubles as a Christmas and a Halloween piece. I started this in May for Jason and Tyler's Halfway to Halloween Sal. They are Jason Stitch and Willet Stitch. So this is the Christmas Witch. But obviously it doubles for both. I am stitching this on a piece of 28 count lugana and accent from Grace Notes Fabrics 2/2 with all of the called for. So I did get the overdyed floss that's called for in this. And I put in a couple of nights on this. Again, there's a cat. Shocking in a house with 4 cats, right? This is where she is. Where she was in the whip parade. Guys, what is it with me today? And there she is. I really want to draw your attention to the snake in the party hat. Thank you. I still have to finish the rest of his body, but once I got that snowflake in, I had to go down and put that snake in because I just can't stand it. Look at his little hat. Loving the way that variegated orangish goldish yellow is working up. That is, let's see. I don't want to get it wrong. Let me find it in this bag. Maybe. Gentle Arts Toffee. And I'm hoping I have enough. I'm kind of starting to question myself, but I think it'll work out okay. Yeah, I'm loving that. I'm hoping I get back to that one this month, but if I don't, I can pull this out for Halloween too. So it'll come out in September and October as a Halloween project. So it'll get double the work on it that it normally would have gotten done. All right, you ready to go into new starts? I am. I have 3 new starts for this month for Christmas in July. The first one I am doing is Reindeer Games by Erica Michaels. I'm working on the strawberry first. This is on a piece of 32 count linen that was just in my stash box of fabric. I don't know what it is or where it's from. At first, I thought maybe it was Vintage Country Mocha, but I don't think it is because the printing is on, like the modeling and stuff is on both sides. It might be a Forbidden Fiber Co. because it kind of feels like a Forbidden Fiber Co. I don't know. Anyway, I'm doing it 1/1. Not 1/1. I'm doing it 1/2. But then the writing on the bottom, like the little letters, they are 1/1. Here's where I am. I'm almost done. I worked on it for like a day and a half. I started it on July 6th. So really just stuff up here. And then it'll be done. And then I really have to figure out how to turn this into a strawberry. I definitely gave myself enough space. So I have another strawberry that I finished earlier this year that I also need to turn into a strawberry. So it'll be fine. Those little letters were so tedious, but they look so good. But yeah, love this. I can't remember if this is done in DMC. It's not, but I converted it all to DMC. So there's a lot of like classic color works and stuff in here that I did not use. So I just used the DMC conversion, and I think it looks really good. My husband even commented on this one as I was stitching it, and he never really talks about anything that I'm working on as I'm working on it. But even he was like, oh, Rudolph, I like that. Good to know. Where do you think that came from? See? This is what they don't tell you about filming Flosstubes. You end up with random things everywhere. The next thing I started is North Pole by Kathy Barrick. This one I am doing in the called for on a piece of 18 count Aida and hazelnut cream from Grace Notes Fabrics. Started it on July 10th of this year. 1/1. This is with the Susan. See, I said all the called for. Y'all, I am out of my mind today. This is Susan's conversion from Keepsakes. So it is all over dye, but it is not the called for. My friend Michelle passed all of this to me when she was done. It was a little past the stash moment. So I just did border, but it's looking really good. I love the colors. Susan's like a color master. So I did a lot of border. The top border is done. So that's as far as it'll go across the fabric. And then it's a pretty long one. And there are a ton of trees. So we've got one tree in, but Michelle even warned me. She's like, there's so many trees. And I'm like, it'll be all right. I can handle it. Oh, yeah. That one's working up really well. The border was fast, and I knew I had to start with the border because I am just not a border person, but I feel like this one needs it to tie it together. So I figured I better start with it so I don't get there at the end and just lose all motivation to work on it. My last new start is in a bag I haven't shown yet before, I don't think. This is a Jasmine Custom Bags with Christmas Story. I love that. It's so cute. This kind of goes into haul a little bit. Emma Congdon's new Christmas book came out, and I got it. I had pre-ordered it. It's so good. There are so many good flip-throughs on here on YouTube about this book. I'll link Helen D's channel below because she did one. So I'm not going to do one because plenty of people have already done it and they did a great job. And obviously, I'm apparently not in the correct headspace to film today, so that would be a disaster. But this is a fantastic book. So I had to start right away. So this is the one I picked first, and she does have the United States English pattern in here as well, where it doesn't have the U in favorite and color. I'm doing this one. Not doing it on the called for fabric, not using the called for floss. They're the same colors. My friend Catherine, Accounting My Stitches, she said something in her last Flosstube where she said that she was using the called for-ish. And I laughed so hard because that's what I do. Like everything I do, like sometimes I'll stick directly to it, but sometimes it's just the called for-ish. And I converted this to sulky. If you want my conversion, I can give it to you, but I converted all the colors to sulky. Here they are. And I am doing this because I'm crazy on a piece of Cotton and Flax Essex Collection quilting cotton fabric. The goal is to turn this into a project when it's done. So I worked on this for a couple of days, started it on the 17th of this month. I am working this up 1/3 because 1/1 was too tiny, obviously. 1/2 did not look right. 1/3 looks good. And this is where it is. I did it. So yeah, it's my first time ever stitching directly onto cotton. And, you know, I know there's like waste canvas and stuff, but I didn't want the excess to be that big. I do want this to be a cute little project bag. And it's just a different look when you stitch directly onto it if you can. I'm not saying that's the world's most easy thing to accomplish, but I will fold this up and bring you in a little bit here. I found this fabric at the antique mall when I was thrifting one day, and I said, well, I can see those holes, sort of. So, and I actually stitched this in the car, sitting in the parking lot, waiting for my son to get out of an art camp. So I could see it, and I think it's looking really good. I think it's going to be a cutie little project, but I have other Christmas fabric, and as long as I can get my sewing machine out and remind myself how to thread it, we might get somewhere with this. And it stitches up super quick. This is just, a couple of nights, really, an afternoon and a couple of nights. Yeah, highly recommend this book. There are so many cute patterns. And I mean, it was what, like less than $20, I think, when I pre-ordered it. So if you find even a couple of patterns in it that you're going to stitch, it's well worth the price. So I love her books. I have another one of her books to show you in haul here in just a minute. Okay. Whoop, the Leaning Tower project bags. Okay. Let's do plans really, really quick because there's not a lot of them and they're very loose. So I want to continue with my Christmas in July. We've got a couple more weeks, like a week and a half of that left to go. So finish up with that. I am in full planning mode for fall and end of summer starts. Some of that I will show you in haul. Already thinking ahead to the Christmas season and what I want to do and thinking about WIPGO and all that for next year. It's all starting to percolate in my head because we're getting into that second half of the year. So just things that are going to kind of pop up. Really quick before we get into haul, I wanted to show, someone had asked me what kind of tools I use when I make needle minders out of pins, because I do make a lot of my needle minders these days. And I just wanted to really quick show a couple of things. So I'm not going to show you the pliers that I use. So when pins come, they have a little pointy end on the back, right? And so I just use pliers and I snip that off. The really good ones are one piece. And so when you snip it off, you have to sand down the remnants. So that's where this little guy comes in. I have basically a little mini Dremel, a little rotary tool. It comes with all kinds of attachments and stuff. And the rotary itself. So I put one of the attachments on it to sand it down and it can take a while depending on the thickness of the piece. So you have to have your patience pants, that's for sure. So I will sand it down. Now, the ones that are a little more cheaply made, the pin part of it is on a little plate that's like attached to the pin itself. Like when I say the pointy part is attached to the pin with a plate. And when you use the pliers, the whole thing will pop off. That's nice. And then I have magnets. You can search like rare earth magnets. You just want super strong ones. Small ones, of course, because they're going on the back of something that's not that big and you don't want it to be bulky. So I have these silver ones that are a little thicker, just round ones. And so, you 2 per project or per needle minder. And I also have these black ones, which are super small for the really little ones. So you can see like they're teeny tiny. They're very thin. They're very small. So you glue one of them to the back of the pin that you're turning into a needle minder. There's a couple different kinds of glue that you can use. B6000 is a very popular one. I don't happen to have any of that right now. I do have B7000 that I've been using until I use it up. This works just as well for needle minders at least. So glue a magnet to the back of each one, let it dry for about a day, and then you're ready to go. Get the other magnet and works like a charm. The one trap that you can fall into, that I have fallen into multiple times, is don't think that just because the pin itself is metal and magnetic that you can just take that piece and a magnet and use them like that. Like that you don't have to glue another magnet to the back of the pin itself, because it will not hold your needle that way. Learned that the hard way. Lost a needle a few times before my brain caught up with me and thought, that's not right. So there you go. Those are the tools I use. They're very simple, very, inexpensive. It's very addicting if you're going to start the process of making your own needle minders, just FYI. Let's get into haul. I have great haul. Like if you're not usually a haul person, you might want to stick around for this haul. Let's start simple. Let's start with thrifting. From the thrift store here lately, I found 2 cork boards that I can use. They're just squares, but they're great for finishing projects onto. And they're already backed and they have hangers. I got these for $2 a piece. So great for finishing stuff you want to hang on the wall. And then I also, for $3, got this sign, which is not my style. This is not my style. I don't care about this, but I like the frame. And it's the perfect size to put my StitchCon table piece in. So we're going to mount this onto something and frame it in here. And it'll cover up the Love Grows Here thing. So I was super excited when I found that. And I obviously didn't have the piece with me, so I just went, I measured with my heart. And it worked out. So I'm very excited about that. Let's see. I want to save Mystic for the end. This was Stitchy Kindness from someone that wants to remain anonymous, but thank you so much for this. I've been stitching out of the Emma Congdon cross stitch for the Earth book, and I did not have cross stitch for the heart. So they sent it to me. Thank you. This is so nice. There's so many cute things in here. It's like I said with the Christmas book, you never know. As long as you can find a couple in here, it's absolutely worth the cost. So usually there's you can see all the stuff in it. So very excited about this. I'll definitely get something in here kitted up before spring. Like I'll start something around Valentine's Day or something like that. So thank you again. Really appreciate that. That was so kind. Okay. Let's do a little bit of Stitchy Kindness. Actually, let's do eBay. I found this kit on eBay randomly and just bought it. It's a little mini Busilla kit. He's really cute. He reminds me of some of my cats. I was kind of disappointed though, because the pictures that they had on the listing showed the floss already on a card, with the numbers and all of that. This thing came torn wide open. The floss is obviously like this, but the pattern is fine. There's the fabric in here, but I won't use that fabric. I'll switch it out. It has the DMC numbers, so we can figure this out, but it's my most hated thing. The light gray, very light gray, dark, medium gray, medium dark. So we'll figure it out. So a little agitated that it did not really come as advertised, but what are you going to do? It's, it's the chart thing I wanted. So we're just going to let it go. I'm not going to ding somebody for something like that, as much as I may want to. A little bit more Stitchy Kindness. Like I said, it was the 2-year anniversary of my stitching group. And Michelle made us all little floss bobbins with our initials on them. Or she bought them. I don't think she made them, but she got them for us. We'll just say that. So that's super cute. I probably won't put floss on it, but I'm definitely going to display it on my stitching bookcase. And then when I was at the library meetup in Northern Kentucky with Erin and Amity, they had leftovers of their StitchCon freebie since we were at different weekends. So they had each picked a Silks for You floss and had their little card, which is super cute. So thank you guys. I brought my extras of my giveaway too. We were just passing stuff around the table. It was fun. And then last thing that I have from not Mystic or BeStitchMe, because wait till you see those. Why is that bag wet? Is this little pin that I got from somewhere. Oh, Painted Tree, which is like a little artisan small business market. It's a chain, I think. But it's a cat and it's reading How to Kill a Mockingbird. Oh, cracks me up. Obviously, gonna make this into an eagle. Okay. Let's go into BeStitchMe first, and then we'll do the Mystic Fall, and we'll talk about that shop because that was an experience. So for BeStitchMe, she did grab bags and ready to ship right before a Friday night fight night. So we have all the things. We have a little assortment of everything. So I grabbed an even weave grab bag. So just flip through them real quick. Obviously no names for anything because they're just, you know, scraps basically. Great for smalls and ornaments and things like that. That one. And that is now a mess that I will have to get out later. And then in the ready to ship, I grabbed a piece of 25 count lugana in catacombs. Sorry for the crinkles. I didn't take anything out of the bags. I'll unfold it all the way. This is a great piece of. I love it. Just enough modeling to look old, which I really like. So got that. And then in Friday Night Fight Night, I went in solely wanting a piece of Romantic Ruin, which is a new one that she just released. She showed it and said, I don't have a name for this yet. We're getting there. And I was like, oh, I need that. So I got a piece of 20 count Ada. And this is the one everybody's like, oh yeah. Love that. And that looks really, that's great. Beautiful fabric. And of course, Brandy always does giveaways. And so I entered, and wouldn't you know it, all of a sudden a bunch of people start messaging me like, did you see her post about the winners? I won the big silk pack. You guys, it is 10 yard skeins, and there are 20 of them. This is 2 football fields of floss. We're going to go through them really fast, really fast. Blood Moon. Hope. Really pretty variegated. Strong. Academy. Crocodile. Pumpkin. Lemonade. Seal. Blue Slate. Curious. Gaia. Sandbox. Grass. Hickory. Dahlia. Light Roast. Eldoris. Dragonfly. Guardian. And Swamp. These came in the mail, and I like could have thrown them on the floor and rolled around on them. They feel amazing. And honestly, I took out the 2 variegated ones, and I was looking at them, and I'm like, you know, these would make one heck of a color palette for something like a long dog, where you can pick and choose what colors you put where. Like, I can't even get these quickly. Like, this is ridiculous. Like, that's a heck of a florally sort of long dog palette. Will that ever happen? Probably not, but it's fun to think about. I've got to put these back in their bag because I don't want a cat to get a hold of them. I don't want to lose one. Okay. Let's talk Mystic Fabrics. So fun. If you are a fabric person, go to the shop. If you are anywhere within driving distance of Rushville, Indiana, or you find yourself traveling to Indianapolis, Cincinnati, Dayton, anything like that, please go to the shop. Like, I eventually just sat down on the floor and started going through bins of fabric. They're pre-cut, which is fantastic. So you don't feel like can you cut me a fat eighth of this? Can you cut me a fat quarter of this? Can I get no, it's just, there they are. And you can just flip through them. Pretty good selection of patterns. Great floss, whole floss room actually of Gentle Arts Weeks. All kinds. Great models that she has stitched herself. She had a sprouting lupine trunk show, which is going away right now, but she is getting more trunk shows in the future, which is exciting. But I will pop in some pictures here. Like, fantastic. If you like quilting, she had a great couple of quilting rooms with fabric and notions, all that stuff. Just really well laid out. Great displays with models and then the pattern and like floss and notions that go with it and stickers and pins and needle minders and hoops, nurges, Q-snaps, project bags, scissors, anything you could want is packed into this little store. And we had the best time. And like I said at the beginning, Misty was so nice. And I do have some haul. I went in and I said, I am going to spend $100 at this store. That's my budget. And I went over, I spent like $138. But then I got home and I was telling my husband about it and showing him, and I went, but I'm getting refunded my $50 for summer stitch that got canceled. So really, in cross stitcher math, I spent $88 today. It all works out. Perfect. So let's go through this really fast. I got a couple of pins that one I'm going to turn into a needle minder, and the other I'm going to put in my stitching case, which maybe next time I'll show my stitching case because that thing is getting pretty blinged out. But I got this pin. It's from McIntyre. If you've ever read it, you know what this is. I'm starting a Starfall Mountain full coverage at some point in the near future. So I'm going to turn this into a needle minder and use it on that project. And then I got this one that I'm going to put in my stitching case, and it says, "You are safe to be around me." And then I'll show patterns, and we'll do fabric last because that's the fun part, right? So I bought one pattern from the Sprouting Lupine Trunk Show. This is Thunderstorm Nature Walk. The model gets you every time, right? But this, look at him. He's so grumpy. Even if I just did a small, which I think I'll probably do the whole thing, but even if you just did a small of him under this leaf, maybe I'll do both. Might do it twice. I love him. Frogs are really special to my family, and I know that sounds super weird, but they are my mom's favorite, so frogs are just like a thing for us. So love this. Super excited to stitch him. And then I know I had talked about needing to get the first pattern from Year in the Woods Part 2 from Cottage Garden Samplings, the wolf, because my son starts middle school in a few weeks and he's going to be a wolf. So she had the wolf, and then she was like, "Do you need the Classic Colorworks that it calls for? Because it's all DMC except for one." I was like, "Yeah, I do." It was. So, she went and grabbed that for me right away. So helpful, so attentive. And I'll go straight into fabric from that because I bought fabric too. Stay. So this is a piece of 36 count linen in the color Nothing. And I'm going to put this wolf on it because this is basically the color of my son's school. This very dark blue. This is one of their colors, dark blue and gray. So there you go. that fabric. And I'm going to have obviously enough of this to do something else on it. And it feels good. You know me and fabric feel like I'm obsessed with making sure my fabric feels good. So very excited about that. And then before I show the last 3 fabrics that I bought, to thank me for driving, Michelle snuck behind my back and she got me this. You seen me? Cute little cat paw, right? Scissors. And I had seen them in the shop and I was like, oh, those are really cute. I've seen those before. And behind my back, she bought me a pair. And we got in the car. She's like, thanks for driving. And I was like, cat paw scissors. It's the little things. The next fabric I got is a piece of 18 count Aida in Galaxy. Yep. That's a showstopper. That's begging for like a Bella Filipina or something like that, I think. We'll see. We'll see what goes on that one. I love it. So pretty. She had some opal of this too, and I was like, oh, I don't know. If I'm going to put a Bella on it, maybe I don't want it to be super sparkly because it would take away from the beads in the piece. We'll see. Then I got a piece of 40 count Verdal even weave in I Descent. Yeah, that one's really pretty. Also would look good with a Mira or a Bella Filipina or something like that. I'm sensing a theme with your fabrics, Misty. And after seeing all of your models in your shop, I can see where I'm getting that from. And then the last piece that I got is a fabric of the month from her club from November of 2024. This is Irony. It's a 20 count Aida. I love that, like deep purplish red. So good. That's pretty true. So go. If you have the time and the means, please go because her shop is so cute. It was so much fun. We were there for probably an hour and a half, maybe almost 2 hours, and just had the best time. And we grabbed lunch before we headed back, and it was like a nice little 5-hour trip from Cincinnati to there, round trip. So we just had the best time. I do have 2 PDFs that I bought that are part of my plans for fall stitching. One, I have some really pretty hand-dyed floss on the way for that I'll show hopefully next video. I think it's coming this week. But the pattern is one of the woodcut witches from Raven Coven, and it's the Stitch Witch. Love this. I am using a really deep midnight blue. I'll show the floss is so good. And then I have a piece of BeStitchMe fabric that I think will really make it pop. So that's a plan. And then I also got the Halloween game board from Calico Confectionery, which I think I want to do on a green. I have a couple pieces of green, one from Atomic Ranch that I think is going to be so a couple little PDF pieces of haul as well. And I think that's it, you guys. I think we've gone through all of my stuff. I am surrounded by piles of things. I did not expect to have any haul this time, and look what happened. What can you do? Thank you so much for watching. If you're new and you'd be interested in further updates, please feel free to subscribe. Leave me comments, ask questions. You can DM me on Instagram if you'd like as well. And I also have an email address that I will link in the description box below. I will try to put pattern information for everything I've shown here in the description box as well. And link anyone that I talked about. If I missed you, let me know. Sometimes I lose track when I'm editing and I am so engrossed I don't write someone's name down. So call me out on it, please. Call me in. That's it. I'll see you guys in 2 weeks when it's August, which is crazy. And until then, I hope you have a wonderful 2 weeks and you get tons of stitching done. And I'll see y'all then. Bye.